Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. Thanks to God for keeping us all safe and sound. Children, already we have learned two lessons of social science. Power sharing of political science, resources and development of geography. Today we shall be starting with our new lesson, that is rise of nationalism in Europe, which is the first lesson of history. So before starting with the lesson, let's understand the meaning of the word nationalism. You might be knowing the meaning of this word. Let's recall it once again. Nationalism. Nationalism means when a group of people, when they want to share a common type of culture, race, language, tradition, etc., and to form an independent country. So that type of feelings together is called to be as nationalism. Or in other words, we can say the love, the pride towards one country, or loyalty towards one's country, or showing patriotism towards one's country. That is nationalism. Now, how this nationalism came in Europe, how these territories were being unified, how the governments were being changed, all this we'll be learning in this lesson. Let's start with our lesson. Welcome to the lesson, Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Students, the whole of European countries, they were been under the rule of monarchical form of government. The kings used to rule over the kingdoms of theirs, but where there was no voices of the people. We have already learnt about French Revolution in our history of class 9th. The whole of French society was divided into three estates. The first estate was of clergy, the second estate was of nobles, the third estate had three groups. The first group was of richer members, the second group consisted of the middle class, and the third, the lower class, was of the people, those who had no land, the landless laborers and all. Now the third estate as a whole, they had to pay the taxes, which was disliked by the third estate group. The reason was they also had the educated people. They had a belief that why these privileges to be received only by the first two estates. They didn't wanted the privileges to be received by birth. Rather than they wanted a person's position should depend on his merit. And these people, they were called to be as middle classes. They were being called to be as middle classes. Now see children, these people, they came ahead. They were being inspired by the philosophers. They came ahead. They raised their voices against the kings. And at the last, with the raising of their voices, the king had to give up. And their demands were being accepted. And in 1791, we learned that the king accepted to become as a constitutional monarch. Then again, when in 1791, the 1791 constitution of theirs, they had divided the citizens into two groups, active and passive, which was disliked by the less prosperous section. Again, there was a raising of voices. With this, again in 1792, finally the France became republic. So likewise, with the raising of voices, with the people's unity, they could form a republics. The ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity, these ideals were spread all over of Europe. The ideals of freedom, the ideals of equality, fraternity, to form a democratic form of government, these type of ideals started getting spread all over Europe. Now all of the countries, they wanted to have a democratic form of government as they had started practicing in France. Now even the colonized countries like India, they also, some names are been names we have learned, like Tipu Sultan, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, they also wanted such ideals to be practiced in our country. Now let's start with our lesson. The lesson starts with an introduction which has been given by a French artist named Frédéric Choureau. In 1848, he depicted a picture. Through his picture, he portrayed a picture. In his picture, he wanted to show that the whole of the world should be made of democratic, socio-republic country. In those days, children, there was a role of philosophers, the poets, the singers, the artists, they had a major role in spreading nationalism. So here in this lesson we are going to start with the introduction given by Frederick Churro. In 1848, he made a picture in such a way he wanted to tell the whole of world that the world should be made of democratic and social republic. Democracy, you already know it. Democracy means a form of government where people elected rulers rule the country. And social means where no classes are there, where the wealth is equally distributed among all the people in the country, there is no rich, no poor. And republic means where the head of the state is an elected person, not a hereditary monarch. Now in his painting, Frederick Churro, he depicted that all the men and women of all ages, there is no distinction, of all classes, no richer or poor, they are all going in a train, marching in a train, marching just like a train, one after another carrying their flags. And then they are paying homage to the Statue of Liberty. And this Statue of Liberty, you might be remembering, children, in French Revolution also we have learnt about that the Statue of Liberty, she was personified as a female figure it was. So likewise here also the Statue of Liberty was there, and all the men and women while marching they were paying homage to this. And this Statue of Liberty was bearing the Charter of Rights of Man in one hand, and in another hand she was carrying the torch of enlightenment, which means the people of all the countries, they should be made aware of that they should not be ruled by the hereditary monarchs. Their voices should be, they should have a right to raise their voices. Through his picture, he also shows that how with the raising of the voices of the people, the absolutist institutions here means the kings, they can be shattered. Means in this picture he had shown that how with the raising of voices of the people, the kings can be lowered down, their powers can be shattered down. So this is what he has shown in his picture. Through his picture he wanted to awaken people, to make people aware of that how important they are in a country where all the people in the country can enjoy equal rights. In his painting, he also has shown that how this absolutist institutions were being shattered, when the people were moving in a train along with their different flags, at that time from heavens, Christ, the angels, they were gazing upon this scene. That how in a fraternity, brotherhood is there all over in countries. So this is how, through his paintings, Frederick Churro wanted the whole of the countries, the whole countries in the world to form a nation state. Nation state here means, children, where there is a commonness, where there is a common identity, where a common culture is being, common culture, common race, common traditions are being shared among the people of the country. Now to form this nation state, it was not an easy task, children. To replace the monarchical form of government towards the national form of government, it took decades. And it happened because of the struggle of the people, the struggle of the leaders, and in a united way only this was possible. Now let's start with the first unit of the chapter, the French Revolution and the idea of nation. Now children, the nationalism, the expression of nationalism came from French Revolution to all of the Europe, that we have learned just now. Now children, you might also be remembering that in 1789, during 1789, the France was a full-fledged territorial state under the rule of monarchy. The monarchical rule, which was known for their despotism. The autocratic monarchs used to exist, where the people did not have their voices. Here, despotism means the oppressive rulers, those who showed oppression towards the people, without listening to the concerns of the people, those who were not concerned with the people. So they were called despotic rulers, those who had their self-rule. Now children, we have also learned that how the National Assembly got formed. In 1789, constitutional monarchy was formed, and then the National Assembly got recognized. When France was declared republic, the revolutionary government, they brought certain measures which declared the people to have equal rights, a commonness among the citizens. The measures which they brought to bring commonness in the society, they were first the ideals of La Patrie. La Patrie means they declared their nation to be as fatherland, as we say to India to be as our motherland. The same way they said it's our fatherland, and citoyen words were being used. They gave away the words sir, madam. The respectful words were not being used to ensure equality. Then the new French flag was being chosen so that the monarchical form of orders could be replaced. Then the new oaths were being taken, new hymns were being composed, the martyrs were being commemorated. The Estate General was elected and was given the name National Assembly. Then children, internal dues, the custom duties, means all the taxes they got abolished. Uniform laws were being brought for to maintain equality among the citizens. Then uniform weight and measures were being brought. Then children, at the last, they abolished all the languages. The regional languages were being abolished, and French language was chosen to be the common language, and it became the national language of the France. This is how, to bring equality among the citizens, these all measures were being brought. And these ideas of theirs, it was so much liked by the countries within the Europe that they also started forming their own clubs so that they can discuss upon these ideals. And now these groups, the clubs formed by them, came to be known as Jacobins Club. Now when this club's formation, when this association started getting formed, it gave a chance for this French armies to go to these countries to spread the idea of nationalism. Now these French armies, they took it as a mission that they are going to liberate the whole of Europe from despotism. They made it as an aim that we are going to make the whole countries to form a nation state. Now these French armies, children, earlier when they started, they were being considered to be as harbingers of liberty. Harbingers here means pioneers, as initiators. People welcomed them. They started with Holland, Switzerland, much of Italy, means much of the places in 1917 they went in and they tried to establish democratic form of government over there. But slowly they started getting a hostility. Hostility here means, children, they started getting a disliking. What was this? Why this disliking started among the countries? The reason was forcibly attacking upon a country or overthrowing the government over there, and then making the people of the country to get into their French armies, and forced taxation was put upon the people, censorship was laid upon the people. So like this, certain restrictions were put upon the people, which was disfavored. Now let's learn about Napoleon. Napoleon, you might not have forgotten, children. We have learnt in French Revolution about Napoleon. How did Napoleon came into France, children? Because of the failure of the Directory government. Directory government, when did it came, children? With the failure of this, when the Maximilien Robespierre, when his government came to an end, at that time, Directory. Who was Directory, children? The propertied sections of the people. When they came into power, but because of their failure to bring stability in politics, that is why that became an advantage before Napoleon to enter into France. His time period starts from 1804. Now children, as soon as Napoleon came to France, he brought back, what did he do? He overthrew the democratic form of government. He didn't wanted the democratic format of government to be practiced. What did he do? He brought back monarchy. Now, though he brought monarchical form of government, but still he brought many reformative measures. He also brought commonness among the people. He also wanted people to be united, to enjoy the feelings of equality. Now, what all equality measures were being brought, that all we are going to study with just now. Now, his rules were called to be as Napoleonic Code, and that was also called to be as Civil Code of 1804. Now the reformative measures brought by him were, he was against the privileges which was based on birth. The feudal privileges that also soon after his coming, that also got abolished. There was administrative divisions were being made so that there can be no confusions. Uniformity of law was being brought. He freed peasants from the serfdom and manorial dues. Now these peasants, they were being treated to be as the most lower social classes, and they have to pay certain taxes because of their for being in this lowest class. Now they were being free. Even this guild restrictions in the town, they were being abolished. The merchants, the farmers, they found a new type of freedom. There was a uniformity in weights and measures. A common currency was being facilitated. Means all over in France there was a newborn freedom. So this is how we learn, children, that how French Revolution, by this French Revolution, how nationalism spreaded all over Europe. This is how we have understood, children, that how nationalism through French Revolution, through the French armies, through Napoleon, how a feeling of nationalism spreaded all over Europe. Here we come to an end of Unit 1. In our next class, we will start with Unit 2, that is making of nationalism in Europe.